Psychologically, there is quite a leap to make when you suddenly say to yourself or admit to yourself, I'm blind or I'm going blind, this is it. I think with blindness, I'm very matter-of-fact about it. I've always maintained that, like anyone else on this planet, I have the option of sitting in a puddle of my own tears or getting on and getting up and dealing with life. And everyone has different challenges. This just happens to be mine. My name is James Jackson. I'm a thriller writer. I write historical and contemporary novels, mostly historical these days, focusing on the Elizabethan era, although I have also covered the Crusader age and the World War II and everything else in between, but mostly Elizabethan. Hang on, where is he? Here he is. This is the sharp end of the office here where I do all the writing. That chair I've sat in for over 20 years now writing thrillers. But I do share the office with this man-eating tiger that my pa shot probably 70 years ago. And he is huge. He's the size of a horse. He's watched over me as I've produced quite a few books now. So yeah, we're old friends. I don't have any fancy software or anything like that. I don't use audio because I don't want to listen to my words being repeated to me by a robot for 14 months. It would drive me insane. So I simply turn the computer on, have the file, and I start typing. The problem is reading it back, of course, but I have a pretty good memory, and I think that over time you build up a very good memory of what you've said, what you've done. At the end of the day, it kind of comes down to just touch typing, something I learnt when I was 16, and one of the greatest skills I've ever acquired. And it's served me in good stead writing a lot of thrillers now. So I think I've got faster over the years. My blindness is caused by an inherited condition called retinitis pigmentosa, or RP for short, and I'm no expert, even though I have lived with it for a while, and it's a degenerative eye disease. So when I was young, it was basically manifested in night blindness, and then slowly the tunnel vision kicked in and my peripheral vision went, and then it started closing in like that. And I think your brain compensates for a long time. You don't notice these things. And then small things creep in. You know, you come back from a dinner party and think, oh, actually, I didn't see anyone around the table. Or you're shaving in the mirror, you think, wow, I can't see my whole face. But again, your brain is always compensating. So as the tunnel vision crept in, I'd scan people's faces. And so I think I built up a composite image of what people's faces look like. And so it took a long time before I really thought, actually, I can't see them at all. Of course, there's going to be the odd pang of regret and sadness, you know, that one can't see the faces of people or the smiles of people again. And I don't like sort of relying on people, no. And I think when you step out of the house, you sort of get owned. People are very kind and they're always trying to help and get you across roads and finding you things in supermarkets. But you have to create some sort of space around you, some sort of part of your life that is independent, because you can end up being taken over very, very easily. And that's not really in my nature. I've always lived in London, so getting used to pavements and everything else has not been that difficult. And most things have a logical pattern. You can see the tip on the end of this stick, this long cane, and it's a roller. So I can pick up puddles, I can detect verges, I can see where there's tactile paving. The only thing it can't tell me is when a branch or a thorn bush is about to hit my face. But it does allow me to get around quite often at high speed, and it's perfect for this park because the paths are good. So unless there's a lorry or something in my path, I can get around pretty quickly. We're on the Peace Pagoda in the middle of Battersea Park, and it's a waypoint on my daily constitutional around the place. I think I've adapted to blindness in the same way I've adapted to thriller writing. For a long time when I started writing, I sort of slightly kicked against the whole, being on my own for hours, trying to conjure up a plot line and things, and trying to create narrative. But over the years, you just get used to it. You immerse yourself in it. And I think blindness heightens one's sense of the absurd. There are always situations one gets oneself into that are so ridiculous that they're straight out of a comedy. I mean, I remember being in a supermarket once, and I was trying to buy some apples, and this woman said, "Do you want some oranges?" And I said, "No, I'm looking for apples, thank you." She said, "But you love oranges." And I thought, that's a bit strange, but I'll be polite. I said, no, apples, really, I'm just looking for apples. And she said, "What about bananas?" I said, "No, really, just apples, thank you." And after 2 minutes of all this, she said, "What about yogurt?" And it was at that point I realised she was on her mobile phone to her husband or her boyfriend. So there are always going to be situations like that.